This is my freshly acquired 1959 International 240 utility tractor, which I just purchased from a few miles away and ultimately screwed myself on, but I think it will be okay. So, let's go ahead and dive into it. This tractor was listed as ran 4 years ago, the carburetor is off of it, and that's it. So, okay, sitting 4 years, carb is off, probably was running poorly. Okay. So, that seems fine. This thing is 800 bucks. Okay, deal. So I go down there, and turns out we put a battery on it to spin it, to make sure it spins, and it doesn't spin. And I grab the fan, and it won't budge. And then we put it in gear and try to drag it with the winch, and the tires just drag. So this engine is seized. And then, once we discovered that it was seized, we then decided to move into checking the oil. And I dropped this oil pan here, and a whole bucket of water and antifreeze fell out of it. And then oil came out last. So that's not really good either. So this engine got water in it from sitting, and then it rusted, and now it is seized. So why do I even have it? Well, I went ahead and decided to get it anyway because of the platform that it is. I was looking at some of the older, like 40s tractors and whatnot, and this one's a little bit newer, a little more modern, and has a little bit more room for capability in the future. It already has hydraulics on it. Right now it's just running this one ram back here for a 3-point hitch, but there is mounts here to add a front loader or whatever else, so that's going to be pretty nice. We have our remote right there, and yeah, I think it'll be pretty cool. It's got a 4-speed. It'll get up to about 12 miles an hour, which is going to be pretty fast in this small yard if I even ever need to go that fast. And it's in rough shape, but I think that just, ties it in where, being what I'm going to use it for, I don't have to care that much. So that part's nice. So what I'm going to do here is I've got the cylinders full of a special sauce mixture that I learned from a master tech at a restoration shop I work for, and I used it before on a seized engine and it worked. So I'm hoping that it will work on this one. Looking down the cylinders, cylinder 3 looks like the one that's bad. That's the one that was in the right position where it got full of water. And it looks like top end, because when I took the pan off, I looked up in there, and everything on the bottom end looks like new. Everything's clean. There's nothing's weirdly discolored or has any type of rust. The cam looks perfect. Everything bottom end looks flawless, except for all the sludgy mess that's in the pan. But ignoring that, there's nothing actually wrong down there. So it's all up here at top end where there's problems. So that makes me feel like there's a good chance of this working out all right. So the mixture here is going to be using almost an entire can of PB Blaster, and then just evenly spraying that in the holes. I spray that first. I then use ATF. I pour a little bit of ATF. You can see my jug right there. Pour a little bit of ATF in all 4 cylinders, not a whole lot. And then Marvel Mystery Oil. is the final additive here. And again, you pour, I'd say half the, they come in this little bottle. I pour half the bottle across all 4 cylinders, and then optionally add a little bit of diesel fuel, not much, just a little bit in each cylinder if you want. I did not do that in this case, but I'm just going to see if this initial mixture works first. So the hardest part about getting this engine unseized is going to be waiting. You're going to have to sit there and wait for days and days, possibly a couple weeks, before it really will decide to make its way free. I'm gonna probably come out here and give it a shot every day or two just to see, but yeah, that's the hard part, is that you just have to wait and let that stuff really do its work. So time is a factor on this, but I think once I do that, we will rebuild basically from head gasket up, and we should be good to go. The trans fluid is, of course, all kind of yellow in there. We pulled this cap off and it's all yellow, like some water had gotten into it. I've ran into that before, so we'll drain it and put new fluid in it, and that should be all right. These tires, they're from 2014 and they're in great shape. They don't have any rot or nothing. They have all the tread, so I'm really happy with the tires. They're really good. So that's a big hurdle I don't have to worry about. The exhaust, I think this is how water got in it, is that they just used like plumbing pipe and they just kind of shoved it down here in the exhaust port. They just kind of shoved it in there. And so, yeah, water probably got in there. And there's a whole bunch of nasty crud that got in there, along with pine needles and all kinds of stuff in there. It's just crazy. So, yeah, so I'll have to clean all that out. But it should come together, I think. I think it'll be alright. It'll be a good boy someday. So, gonna take some work, but I will update this on this as we progress. There's just not a whole lot to show when it doesn't really run, so. But this gives you the idea. It's seized. We're gonna try to unseize it and then rebuild it, go from there. I think this platform is worth it. It's a little bit larger tractor than some of the other ones I was looking at, and a little newer, and it has some nice features that some of the older ones do not have. So I still think it's a good purchase. I mean, $800 regardless. I think it's worth that just as it is even with the seized engine. So I think it'll be all okay. Anyhow, catch up on the next one.